Alright guys, welcome to part 2 of my budget ham radio mobile install. This time I'm going to be doing it to the Jeep. Good morning guys. Hey, just finished up the install of the ham radio system here in my Jeep. I've got this little Retevis RT95 mounted up on the dash now. I've got the antenna in there. Gotten some good signal reports over local repeaters and over Simplex. Guys, if you're new here to the channel, please hit the subscribe right now. Do it right now. And do me a favor and hit that like button. That's going to help me a lot. Before we get into the build part of this video, I've got a few thank yous that I want to get out. These are to my patrons: Christopher Parrish, Dwayne Vincent, Eric Farrow, James Brown, baby, Michael McKay Blair, Michael Cortaba, Glenn Morrison Sr., Joe Duncan, Jim Blakely, and a huge thank you to John Spady. Thank you for helping out and being such a big part of the channel. And guys, if you want to be part of the channel, if you want to help me out, you could do that by visiting my Patreon page. So let's talk a minute about the build. I picked the antenna location. Originally I wanted to do a mount on that rear on the rear deck there. I originally thought, wow, that'd be a great place for an antenna. It's up high, it gets it, gets the antenna up off the ground using the same antenna. But the biggest obstacle with that was the length of coax that I would have to use, and then I'd have to figure out a way to bundle it up, and then I have to get it all the way inside the Jeep under the top. And if I put when I put a hard top on this thing, now I'm drilling a hole, and I didn't want to drill a hole in either the top or the body. And I didn't want to have that extra length of coax. Doing it on the hood seemed like the next best thing, and actually it looks really good there. The radio location, I had guys that suggested doing it up in the overhead here, and I actually, in my old Jeep, I had a 72 CJ5. I built a rack that went across the roll bar, mounted an old ham radio up in the overhead there. The problem was that I didn't have a lot of clearance, and I was always nervous that if I hit something and went forward, I was going to hit that bar. All right, let's get this party started. First things first, you are playing with electricity here, so disconnect the battery. Start with the negative side of the battery, so if your wrench hits something grounded, it doesn't go kaboom. Moving to the interior, use a putty knife or a screwdriver to pry up the side of the defroster cover. Then it'll just snap out, and you can see where these little tabs here fit into the dash. Next thing, you're going to locate these two screws here in the center. These hold on the top of the radio and heater console. Remove these two screws. Now you're going to remove the ashtray. Just press it and pull it out. Behind the ashtray is one more screw. Now zip that little sucker out of there, and we are almost done taking the interior apart now. Grasp the top firmly and pull out. Two more slotted ends are left holding it in, and the whole thing will come right out. Now you've exposed everything. If you want to change your car stereo, you can do that now too. Now we're moving into the glove box. We're going to remove this little strap here. No tools required. Just lower the glove box door and the whole thing should fall out. It'll probably fall on the floor if you're doing it with one hand holding the camera. All right, back in the engine compartment now. I've decided I'm gonna go in behind this fuse panel here, drill a small hole. So I removed the fuse panel, and then we're gonna go ahead and drill a bigger hole so I could get all the wires through and make it nice and comfy. Now I took an old antenna, stuffed it through the hole and into the cab, and here I am wrapping up the wires that are going to come back through the firewall. I definitely could have used an extra hand here holding the camera so I could actually do the work. All right, now take your fish tape and pull it back through the hole you created when it's attached to the wires. Pull the wires out and you're done with that part. Remember that center console we pulled out? Well, now it's time to put the bracket on. I used a drill and pop riveted the thing on. Yes, with my background in building race cars, I like to pop rivet just about everything. Pop rivets are very easy to use, very quick. You don't have to have backing screws or anything. It makes a really nice firm hold, and you can get them out if you need to. So now that everything is put together, it is time to route the power wires and the antenna lead through your dash and out that little hole that you drilled, or wherever you figure out you're going to route your wires. Press that center console in firmly until it snaps in on both sides. Then replace the screw at the bottom right inside the ashtray. And finally, replace the two screws at the top of the console. Do not over torque these two screws or you will break the plastic. Replace that defroster cover, and now the interior is complete. All right, so now that I've got my hole drilled over on the other side there, I'm going back over to the driver's side because I've already got one antenna mounted over there. I'm going to mount this antenna on the driver's side. I don't know, just aesthetics, and it gets it away from another source of RFI. I'm going to have to move this out of the way. I'm actually going to have to cut this, cut a slot in here. Looks like it. So what I did is I used a cutoff wheel and cut two slots right into the bottom lip of the hood, and everything fits in there nice and tidy. It's locked in with the screws from the antenna. Now with this configuration, I didn't take into consideration that little lip stabilizer there. That needs to come off. Just score that with the cutoff wheel and bend it over. Remember in the last video I said the factory plug was coming off? Well, this is why. I'm installing a set of Anderson power pole connectors on this radio. The Anderson power pole connectors, they're cheap, they're easy to do. I do suggest using the tool, the special crimping tool for them, and or soldering them on. Power poles are so popular in the emergency communications world that there's all kinds of things made that already utilize power pole connectors. So it makes sense to outfit some of your equipment with power poles. You know, I just want to mention the entire cost for this whole build on this Jeep has totaled less than $250. All right, guys, it's done. Now we play. I'll spend some time getting to know this radio and get back with a review and an in-depth deal on the Retevis RT95.
Sounding good, Bob. AI 6US.
All right, guys, that's all I've got today. If you like this video, please, again, give it the thumbs up. And if you haven't already hit that subscribe button, please hit that subscribe button right now. All the links to all the stuff in here, the antenna, the mount, the radio, and the power poles and tools are in the description below. So If you're interested in any of that stuff, check out the description, check out those links, and I'll see you next time. I'm Bob, K6UDA. I'm out of here. 7-3, my friends.